Let's just begin. Thank you very much. Let's begin with the kasha I spoke about yesterday. Is that the Gemara asks, Minolan. The Gemara asks, from where do we know that a sukkah has to be at least 10 tefachim? And the kasha that everyone unanimously was bothered by is that what happened to the Gemara that we learned a few days ago that clearly implied that you need it to be 10 tefachim, because if it's not 10 tefachim, it's a dira serucha. It's a bad dwelling. So we're busy looking. So I said yesterday, maybe the pshat is we need a makar in the Torah, which, is a bad answer, because usually the Gemara says, svarahi, lama likra. Meaning it's nice, in a very juvenile mindset, we might think, a pasuk is a pasuk. But in reality, in the world of Gemara, if you have a svara, you don't need a pasuk. So why would we need psukim? So the answer to that question is that they all quote Apnei Yeshua, Sfas Emes, that explains, we'll say it in this nusach, is that the Gemara that we saw yesterday with the Aron being 10 tefachim and thereby teaching us Rishus is 10 tefachim has more than one application. Sukkah is just one application. There's also practical ramifications regarding Hilchos Shabbos that we have to know that a mechitza is 10 tefachim. We have to know regarding Hilchos basic Knesses, the minimum size of mechitza between men and women might be the same 10 tefachim. Maybe. Big machlekes on that one. But says the Mefarshim, maybe that's why we need a pasuk. That's one pshat. Another pshat, which is perhaps a little bit easier, is what about if I have a big sukkah, but the walls are only 9 tefachim tall? They go up 9 tefachim, and the schach is, 10 feet in the air. So you would think, what's the problem? Good asik, very good. So the answer is, very good asik, but lemaisa, you don't have a wall, because walls need to be 10 tefachim. So if we didn't bring a pasik, then we would have said, dira srucha. But in that case, it's not a dira srucha. And we actually saw another case proving this point.
The keres means? The keres means it has to be 10 tefachim?
No, not the keres means. That's why we need a raya. No. I'm talking why we need why do we need psukim from the Arayin to prove 10 tefachim? Why don't we just say, it has to be 10 tefachim? Because if it's not 10 tefachim, it's a dira serucha, it's an echi dwelling. You can't live there. Why do we need a pasuk in the Torah?
No, I understand.
So the answer is, if it was more, you're asking on his case.
No, you're saying that you need 10 tefachim in order to say the good asik.
Yeah. Because the Gemara said that. The Gemara said because if you don't have a wall. The Gemara said you don't have a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can't say.
That's what I said. We also saw it by that you can't make your wall.
The Gemara said by Hasav Disa Daifen, then you have even more. When you have a wall, then you could say Daifen Akuma.
Right. So that's a different nothing to do with good asik.
Oh, okay, it's true. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize what you're asking. Very good. It's true also. Okay, well, that's a din. One day we'll get to that din. He's asking a good question. Maybe for good asik, and it's a good question that we have to get to. But one thing is for sure, you need 10 tefachim for there to be a wall. We already saw this in the din of chakak. What was the din of chakak? We saw if your sukkah is less than 10 tefachim tall, and you dig down. So we said it depends how far the hole is. But let's say you dig down, a big enough space. The halacha is, then it would be kosher. This is a little bit hard in math. That's not a dira serucha, because in airspace, you have much more than 10 tefachim, because it spreads out to the sides. Okay, I don't want to get everyone confused in math. But the simple answer is, there are other applications why we need to know 10 tefachim, and the easiest case is, in a case where a sukkah is tall, you need to know that the walls have to be at least 10 tefachim. And that's why we brought down the psukim from yesterday. So again, what's the raya that your sukkah needs to be 10 tefachim? We saw yesterday it's from the Arayin. The Arayin is how tall? Not 10 tefachim, 9 tefachim. How do we know 9 tefachim? Amma v'chetzi. And amma is 6 tefachim. Chetzi, half an amma is 3. 9 tefachim. Givaldik. The kapayres is a tefach, is 10. The Gemara is about to say right now, and this is where we're going to pick up today in a moment. How do you know that the kapayres is a tefach? It's not a pasuk. So all of us who don't know Chumash, it's probably a pasuk somewhere. The Gemara is going to teach us in a second that it's not a pasuk. How we know the kapara is the tefach, and we'll get there in 1 minute. But just to speak out what we saw yesterday is we saw that the aron is 10 tefachim. How does that prove us a sukkah has to be 10 tefachim? What we said is that it says in the pasuk that Hashem will go down on top of the aron and not lower. So we see that there's a separation between the two rishuyos. Hashem doesn't come to earth, and we do not go up to heaven. Parenthetically, obviously what this just means the manifestation of the Shekhinah. Hashem is everywhere. We're not arguing in Uncle Maishi over here. Hashem is everywhere, right?
If he was mitzamtim himself.
I got nervous. I know what you're talking about. But Grada happens to be, someone told me, there you go. Someone told me yesterday, and I just found this out, that there's a Kitzur Seder, that they break up Kitzur yearly. Kitzur is a fabulous sefer. So I give a 3-minute halacha shir in the office or the kollel, depending on which part you're involved in. So I started giving 3 minutes of Kitzur every day, just speaking outside. Kitzur is fabulous. Why do I just remember that? Because what's the first halacha? Shvi Hashem l'negdi tamid. Hashem has to be in front of you. I hope we're sleeping up to 10 tefachim. You're sleeping up in who knows where. So the answer is that just the Gemara here just means, in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's manifestation of the Shekhinah talking to Moshe Rabbeinu, said he doesn't go under 10 tefachim. Okay, that's that. That's the plug for Kitzur. And now let's move on. Bishlama. Yeah, we're now I'm nervous to guess how many lines. We're about 15 lines down. The first word line is Asara. Hey Amid Aleph. So just look for Asara. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. I'm not good at this game. You know what? I actually listened in yeshiva. I didn't play the number game.
15.
Yeah? Very good. I didn't play the number game that half the guys did, just counting numbers all day to keep yourself, out of trouble. Baruch Hashem, I got it right this time. Bishlama asks the Gemara. Yeah, we're all there. Do you have any questions about what we saw yesterday? Is everything clear? Everything good? You could ask. Don't be shy. Okay. Bishlama says the Gemara. And I just, if we're going to, again, I just remind ourselves, if we're going too fast, we're going too slow, the chaver does not have enough time for chazar, etc. Just stop me. These Gemaras happen to be, like yesterday, were just psukim. So we read it a little bit faster. But if you're listening, we're on Hey Amid Aleph. We were up to like Dalet Amid Aleph a very short time. So things
also the 25 minutes.
Things are building. So it's 25 minutes. Things are building, which if things are building, that just means we have to. But that means you have to chazar. Shak v'tarya. Shak v'tarya. Don't forget. Shak v'tarya. Bishlama arein tisha dichsif. What's aron that say shitim? We made aron out of shitim wood. Amasayim v'chetzi arkoi v'ama v'chetzi rachbay. The aron was 1.5 amos tall, 1.5 amos wide. 1.5 amos long, 1.5 amos wide. V'ama v'chetzi kamasai, and 1.5 amos tall. So the aron was a box, a perfect box, 9 tefachim by 9 tefachim by 9 tefachim. But asks the Gemara, this is not his. This is Menachem's. You are correct. You may have read it wrong. Thank you very much. It's not a perfect box. Something didn't make sense because the aron is a rectangle. Thank you. The length is 2.5 amos. At least one person in this room was listening. Thank you. The length was 2.5 amos, which in math is how many tefachim? 15. Okay, good. Someone's decent at math. 6 plus 6 plus 3 is 15. Is 15 long. Amma v'chetzi rachbay, 9 wide, and amma v'chetzi kaimasai, amma v'chetzi tall. Ella, says the Gemara, kapayres tefach minalon. Where do we know that the kapayres was a tefach? Where do we know? Answers the Gemara. Detani Rav Chanina. Explains Rav Chanina. Kol ha-kelim sha'asa Moshe. All the kelim that Moshe Rabbeinu made, nasna bahen Torah midas arkon. The Torah listed how their dimensions. Midas arkon, the length, umidas rachvan, and their width, umidas kaimasan, and their height. Kapayres, midas arka, umidas rachvan nasna. The kapayres, the Torah listed the length and the width, but midas kaimasa loy nasna. So all the Balkari is the only one that knows this one. The rest of us are like, yeah, I don't know, this psukim. That's also good. That's also good. It says the Gemara, the kapayres, it doesn't say the height. So what's the height of the kapayres? Again, by the way, I don't have the picture book. We saw that. What's the kapayres? Kapayres is the lid. Paris is the cover of the aron that contains the keruvim on top of it. So we're trying to figure out how thick is that lid. Says the Gemara, 3 lines from the wide lines. Say ulamad, go out and learn. Mi pachais shabekilim. So again, if I were to ask, what are the dimensions of the aron? It's a pasuk in the Torah. 2.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. If I were to ask, what's the dimensions of the kapairas? You would say the length and the width we know, 2.5 by 1.5, but the height, the thickness, we do not know. So what do we do when we don't know? The Torah doesn't list it. Says the Gemara, let's learn it out from the pachais, from the smallest of the kalim. Now, why the smallest of the kalim? What's that, just arbitrary?
Starting point.
Good. Right now, the Gemara probably thinks like Rabbi Avi said, a starting point. The Gemara will develop itself and get to what you're saying, Tfas Meruba. But meaning in the beginning of the Gemara, it's just svara. You want something? Let's just find something small. Perfect. Says the Gemara Shenemar. It says in the Torah, Vasisolai, and you make for it misgeres, a border, tefach saviv. Everyone aside for Shragi, does anyone know where the misgeres was? Where was the misgeres? Shulchan, very good. Misgeres, 5th grade, there you go. Misgeres, tefach saviv. You make for it a misgeres of a tefach. Why in the world did I bring the picture book home? Can you look in that picture book if they have a picture of the Shulchan? Right behind you, Shaggy, right behind you is the picture book. Second shelf, 5 from the left. There you go. Bingo. Shkaich. Says the pasuk, you make a misgeres of a tefach saviv around it. Around what? Around the shulchan. There is a misgeres. Oh, gewaldige picture. Psh, mamish beautiful. Mamish beautiful. Look at this picture. This is the shulchan, the bottom. That is the misgeres. The whoever is an art school guy, the diadem. Someone, you know, when there's ever an art school. It's called a crown. As we'll see in a moment, there's more picture books. So don't keep getting them out. It's not the cover of the shulchan. It's the border around the shulchan. Here, Chaver, look it over here. Get us some more picture books. We have like 15 of them. Here, open it up. You can open it in the sushi. Okay, so you make a miskeres of a. You have to tell the anonymous sponsor what's going on over here. Machatzilum. Shkoyach. Says the Gemara, again, we're trying to figure out what is the width of the kapoires. The width of the kapoires. Says the Gemara, let's learn it out from the misgeres, the frame of the shulchan, which is a tefach. Ma lehalon tefach. Just like over there it's a tefach, af kan tefach. Therefore, here it's a tefach as well. So now, how do we know that the shulchan's cover, the kaporos, was a tefach? We learn it out from the misgeres, the frame of the shulchan. Asks the Gemara, v'neilef mikelim gufayu. Why don't we learn from the kelim itself? Now, the smallest keli in the Beis Hamikdash is much larger than a tefach. Whatever keli could be referring to here, the Mefarshim explain.
You have a small klisharis.
You're going klisharis. Good. The Gemara in a moment is going to go tzitz. We're going to get there. Very good. But at the moment, we think we're talking about one of the proper kelim, the shulchan. So learn from the shulchan. Asks Gemara.
What was by the shulchan?
That it was much taller than a tefach. Much taller than a tefach. Answers the Gemara. As Rebel, you said before, any time in Gemara we have a choice. And this really, I believe in logic, this works as well for the logic Elsat Chevra amongst us. I believe...
They took away the logic games.
It's no logic games. What are the yeshiva guys going to do anymore?
Today they took it away from
That's it, finished. No point in going to law school anymore. That's why yeshiva guys liked it. You actually get to know something. But in logic, if I don't tell you one dimension and you have to learn it from somewhere else, so you have two choices. Learn from something small or something large. We always say, take on the smallest, because it can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. You understand that? Meaning, could be maybe it should have been bigger, but it can't be less than that. So it's for sure the minimum. So if we have no choice, whenever we have A and we have B and one's big and one's small, says the Gemara, a klal. Tafasta meruba loy tafasta, tafasta mua tafasta. Never grab something too big, grab something smaller. It's
I would say a different answer.
yeah,
I would say a different answer.
a different answer.
You can't take an example from an iker
Good. Two.
to a toffee.
No, you better
right?
be careful. Better be careful.
Shalom, it's a
No,
good- but I'm
no.
saying-
The
but I'm
Gemara's out to
saying
argue with
the-
you. No,
the-
no.
The lid.
That's what I
You
mean.
can take from the misgaris.
Good.
You can't take it from the.
So
actual
you see in the Gemara the exact opposite. Why? The kapayres, so in our fleshik mind, we think, what's the kapayres? The kapayres is just the lid of the aron. No, the kapayres, first of all, the kapayres had a kruvim on it. So I don't know, if you were to ask me which is, I don't know, the kruvim are cool. You know, with the wigs, they turn around, you know.
The Aron holds.
Shem spoke through them.
No, they're on top of it. They're not on the.
It's on the kruvim, on the kapayres. Standing on the kapayres. Standing, hovering, depends which level of Kabbalah we're holding. But Lamaisa, they're on the Kabbayers, So it's part of the Kabbayers. But that's an emotional response. The real response is, let's look at the Gemara right now. The Gemara is about to deal with it. Ask the Gemara, okay, fine. So you don't want to learn out from the Shulchan. You want to learn out from the small, Gavaldik. Is there anything smaller in the base of Mikdash? Says the Gemara, oh, Gavaldik, I'll tell you something teeny. The tzitz, the head plate of the Kohen Gadol was very small. So if we're going to look from something in the Beis HaMikdash with a measurement, what should we learn from? The tzitz. Says the Gemara, v'neilef mi tzitz. Let's learn out from the tzitz. Now, how wide was the tzitz? Anyone know before we see the Gemara? That's long. That's long. Good. How wide? 2 fingers. Very good. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Which way 2 fingers? Very good. V'neilef mi tzitz. Titania, that Ramesha. Oy vey. Titania, we learned in a Raisa. Tzitz doime kiminitas. The tzitz is similar like a tas, like a plate, like a slab of shelzaf, of gold. V'rachav, how wide is the tzitz? We're on the second wide line. Pardon the pun. Beis etzbais, 2 fingers wide. Umukaf, and it surrounds me'oizen la'oizen, from ear to ear. And now the brisa, that's really all we need to know. But as we always, whenever we quote a brisa, we quote in its entirety, so we get to hear some gishmaka details. V'katziv alav, and it's written on the tzitz, beis shitin, 2 rows. Yodehei lemala, Yodehei above. Now when it says Yodehei, it doesn't mean just Yodehei, it means Yodehei vav, Yodkei vav kei on top, the Shem Hashem. V'kodesh lamid, and kodesh lamid milmata, underneath. That's the first opinion. Kodesh la Hashem, but it just said Lamed because it's Hashem. So that's which way you're reading it. Again, here, look at the pictures. It's Geshmaka pictures here. The guys, open those up. Look at the pictures. It shows you the different shitas, how it's written. I think we grew up with the probably the Hollywood edition that it says Kodesh la Hashem in 1 row. But I don't think that's any opinions in the Gemara. But you got it? No, right there. No,
It is an opinion.
When one line is an opinion, the Ari shouldn't say that. Who says that?
The next line.
Steven Spielberg.
No, Avada. I mean, in the Gemara, not in the Ani Risi. That's in the what he saw. Yeah, but it's true. No, I'm not arguing. Yeah, no. Excuse me. I didn't mean that way. I apologize. V'Omer Rav Elazar, here, turn the page. Says Rav Elazar, Rav Yosi. It's just, if you think about it, it's fascinating. The Gemara just said it should be 2 lines, and Rav Elazar says, I give Eidos from what I saw. A little bit interesting, but obviously, it gives credence to what you saw. And this is one of the big fights with the Arch of Titus. We know in the Arch of Titus is a picture of the menorah. And that menorah is only according to one sheet. It's Machlokes Rashi Rambam. If the menorah was straight, the menorah was curved. In the picture, it was curved. And some want to bring rayas. Historians might say that there's no rayas because maybe there were more than one menorah. What's going on? It's fascinating. I'm not a historian, but the Rambam himself drew it. Yeah, but the question is, but the one on the arch is different. Right. The arch is different. So, okay. V'Omer Rav Elazar Rav Yosi, Ani Reisi B'Raimi, I saw in Rome, because of Allah, Kodesh Hashem Shidachas. Okay, so that's just Gishmak sidebar, how it was written. But what's the Gemara's kasha? We're trying to figure out how thick the kapairis was. Says the Gemara, I'll tell you how thick it was. It was 2 fingers thick. The rule of tafasta meruba loy tafasta mua tafasta, grab the smallest measurement. So the smallest measurement is the tzitz. 2 fingers. Now the Gemara says your teretz. Says the Gemara, done in kli make kli. We learn out from a kli. Ve'ein done in kli from meitachshit, from a just adornment, a tachshit, a jewelry. The tzitz wasn't a kli in the Beis HaMikdash. Says the Gemara, okay. V'neilaf mi zer. Let's learn out from the zer. Where was, we have pictures of zer zav zav. No, where's the zer?
On everything.
No, but where?
Crown is on the Mizbeach.
On the Mizbeach. On the Mishulchan, it's called the Miskaris. That's what we just saw. That is the zer. Very good. V'neil of mizer, damar mar zer mashu. Now the Gemara says your teretz. Done in kli me kli. We learn out from a kli and not vein done in kli me hechsher kli. So this is where we see that the Gemara is considering the kapayres, the lid, as a proper kli and not a hechsher kli. Says the Gemara, 1 second. So where are we learning out the kapayres from? And all is done and settled. Misgares of the Shulchan. Yachim misgares nami hechsher kli. Says the Gemara. Hechsher kli who fixes punctuation over here. Whoever's Gemara says
Someone has a pen.
okay, it's potato. I'll figure it out next time. Says the Gemara, misgarta. Oh, it's a pencil. I can even make it. He won't even know. Says the Gemara, misgarta lemata. Thank you very much. Haisa. The misgares was below. Now, what does it mean below? We're officially out of time, so let's look at this in the pictures, and then we'll pick up within this line tomorrow. Everyone, look at the bottom picture over here. This picture over here says the Gemara, the Miskares was underneath the top of the Shulchan. The top of the Shulchan. And that's the reason why the Gemara is learning that the Miskares wasn't just a hechsher. It was part and parcel of the Shulchan. Why? Because it was supporting the actual plank of the Shulchan. The Gemara is about to say that's a mach. Let's just read it quickly. Says the Gemara, again, we have a lot of reading to do. So, clever, good chazar. Tomorrow we'll start and we'll learn it again. That's one mandamar. What about the other mandamar? Michael and Meimar. Says the Gemara. Okay, let's we'll pick it up from here, and B'siyat Ishmael will finish this tomorrow. Yeah, I should have stopped there. Should have stopped 3 minutes.